In the year 2000, Nokia was the most valuable company in the world. It was not one of the biggest, it was the biggest. Its phones were everywhere, in every pocket, every film, every office. By its true peak, it made 4 out of every 10 phones on Earth. And the strangest part is this: the future was already in its labs. It had the touchscreens, it had the internet in its phones. It had everything it needed to own the next 50 years. Then it ignored all of it. And in 7 years, the most valuable company in the world was a footnote. The same thing is happening right now with artificial intelligence. Somewhere, in a company that looks unbreakable today, there is a team building the future in a lab, and the leadership is deciding not to listen. This is the story of how that happens, so you can see the warning before it reaches you. It starts in 1865 in Finland. A mining engineer named Frederick Edestam opens a paper mill on a river called Nokianvirta. That is where the name comes from. Nokia, a paper company. For 100 years, Nokia stays humble. Paper, then rubber boots, then cables. Not a tech giant. A pulp mill with a side business in rubber. Then the 1980s happen, and Nokia drifts into phones almost by accident. In 1982, it sells its first car phone, the Mobira Senator. It weighs 9.5 kilos, 22 pounds. You do not carry it, you install it. In 1987, Nokia shrinks the phone down to something a human can hold. The Cityman, the phone the world saw Gorbachev use. Here is what matters. In 1991, the world's first GSM call is made on Nokia equipment. In 1992, Nokia sells the first commercial GSM phone. And in 1992, a man named Jorma Ollila takes over and makes a brutal decision. Nokia becomes a phone company. It sells the rubber, sells the cables, sells the computers. Everything goes, all in on mobile. It works beyond anyone's imagination. In October 1998, Nokia overtakes Motorola and becomes the best-selling phone brand on Earth. The phones become culture. The 3210, the 3310, Snake, preloaded on every device, colorful swappable covers. You did not buy a phone, you bought a Nokia. By 2000, Nokia is the most valuable company in the world. In its home country of Finland, Nokia alone is 4% of the entire economy, 21% of all exports. The company is a national religion. It employs 55,000 people, and it keeps climbing. By 2005, Nokia had put 1 billion phones into the world's hands. It made the best hardware on Earth, and the whole world knew it. Here is where the story turns. Nokia's peak is not in 2000. Its true peak comes later. In late 2007, Nokia controls 40.4% of every phone sold on the planet and 51% of all smartphones. It is not winning the market. It is the market. But listen to what happened just a few months before that peak. In June 2007, a company called Apple, which had never made a phone, puts one on a stage in San Francisco. A slab of glass, no buttons, no keyboard, the internet in your pocket, controlled by your finger. Nokia's reaction is the most expensive dismissal in modern business, because inside Nokia, the future already existed. They had touchscreen prototypes in their labs. They had the internet in their phones. A team had been working on something very much like the iPhone. But Nokia looks at the slab of glass and decides it is a toy, a niche, a fad for rich Americans. The leadership points at the price and announces it will never go mainstream. Why does a company with every advantage ignore the future? Because success made them deaf. Nokia's culture had spent a decade being right. Middle managers who said the old way was working were rewarded. Engineers who said the future is touch and apps and screens were told to wait. One former employee described the company as a Soviet-style bureaucracy. Teams fought each other. A complete rewrite of the phone's software was proposed, reviewed, and buried for years. So Nokia keeps shipping the thing that made it great. The hardware is brilliant. The N95 is still remembered as a masterpiece. But the software is Symbian, and Symbian is aging badly. Every new feature gets bolted on. Developers are drowning in its complexity. Meanwhile, Apple opens the App Store in 2008 and 1 million developers run to it. Nokia launches its own store, Ovi, months later. Too little, too awkward, too late. And then it watches Android do to the rest of the market what the iPhone did to the top. Cheap phones, free software, an ecosystem anyone could join. Nokia had owned that road. It refused to drive it. Here's the part that kills them. Nokia had every chance to bet on the future. Android was free, open, available to anyone. But Nokia could not see how to stand out on Android, and it had spent years betting on the wrong operating system. So when it finally panicked, it made the worst possible move. In September 2010, Nokia hires Stephen Elop away from Microsoft. In February 2011, Elop sends a memo to the entire company. The message is blunt. "We are standing on a burning platform," he writes. "We have decided to jump." And the jump? Nokia abandons its own operating system and bets everything on Microsoft's Windows Phone. It is the wrong platform at the wrong time for the wrong reason. Consumers read the move as surrender. Sales collapse. In the second quarter of 2011, Nokia posts its first loss in 19 years. By 2012, the stock trades below $2. In September 2013, Nokia sells its entire phone business to Microsoft for $7.2 billion. 2 years later, Microsoft writes off $7.6 billion of it and cuts tens of thousands of jobs. Between 2009 and 2014, Nokia's brand value falls from number 5 in the world to number 98. The most valuable company in the world had become, in a decade, a cautionary tale. So what does Nokia teach us? The same 3 warning signs. Again, the first sign, the new platform looked like a toy. The iPhone was dismissed as an expensive niche. Exactly how AI is dismissed today. It writes bad code. It makes mistakes. It cannot be trusted. Every platform shift looks small and broken right before it rewrites the world. The second sign, Nokia protected the model that made it great instead of the model that would keep it alive. Every dollar spent defending Symbian was a dollar not spent building what came next. The same is true for every industry protecting its old way of doing work today, because the late fee version of a business always dies when the convenience version appears. The third sign, Nokia's structure killed its own good ideas. The future was not missing from Nokia. It was sitting in the labs, rejected by the middle. The AI moment is not a technology problem. It is a culture problem. The company that cannot reorganize around AI, that cannot kill the bureaucracy saying wait, will watch its own innovations ship inside someone else's product. Nokia's executives explained why they skipped Android with a single sentence. They could not see how to stand out. That is the exact sentence companies are saying about AI right now. And here's the ending nobody expects. Nokia did not die. After selling its phones, it stopped being a phone company and bet everything on networks, on infrastructure, on the plumbing of the internet. Today, Nokia is one of the largest makers of 5G equipment in the world. And right now, it is booming, riding the AI build-out. Its stock hit a 16-year high in 2026. The company that failed to adapt to one shift survived by being willing to become something else entirely. That is the whole lesson. The burning platform is a gift. It tells you the fire is real. The question is whether you jump first to a future you control or wait until you are forced and land wherever you are thrown. The most valuable company in the world learned this the hard way. And today, the companies standing on the burning platform are the ones still calling AI a hype bubble, the ones laughing at the slab of glass. Do not be the one who laughs.